There. I think there it's coming through now. So let me know if you are on the live broadcast of the morning sit, if the audio is now working. And I'm just going to continue working through that process that I'm on in my thoughts. I tend to be a collector in some ways, right? Not so much a hoarder, but I collect these different aspects, these different things. Sometimes they're really, based in my identity, and so I start wanting to identify myself with something in a different way, and then all of a sudden I find myself collecting little knickknacks or records or books or art, whatever it is. I start gravitating towards the collection of material things that represent whatever it is that I'm experiencing through my identity. And so I collect these things. And I notice that I have a tendency to allow things to build up and become a little overwhelming, even if it's beautiful, even if it's something that's lovely. I have a difficult time letting go of it if it was something that sort of represented a period of my life or an identity that I was cloaked in for a while, right? So I collect. We're not going to go too deep extending the metaphor, but I collect things. And as I'm cleaning and I'm going through stuff, I'm realizing now I'm to a place where I recognize that I just need to start letting things go in mass, right? VHS horror movies, a few hundred of them, but they're sitting in totes and they're not being utilized. They need to go. And that's, just one small example of the different ways in which I collect things and then have a difficult time letting go. But I also do that with emotions and my emotional connection to people and to the relationships that I have. It's almost the opposite of holding a grudge. I don't hold grudges. At least I'm not aware that I allow my grudges that I may hold to inform me in the negative about people. I tend to not have very many people that I hold grudges about. Of course, there are a few, but I'm not one that has a difficult time with grudges. I forgive pretty easily, and I tend to enjoy reconciliation over a feud or holding on to resentments. That's a good shirt, reconciliation over resentment. Yeah, I prefer reconciliation. But the opposite of that is I hold on to all of these things that, because I've had good interactions or lovely interactions, I'll hold on to this feeling that I need to keep putting work into relationships, whether they're personal relationships, work relationships, whether it's through art, music, poetry. I'll have this internal feeling and dialogue that I need to keep putting all this work into these old relationships to be able to maintain something that has shifted already, something that's needed to shift. And because of this, I have some lifelong friendships. This is a benefit in that there are some people in my life that mean a lot to me that I've grown with over 30 plus years, right? And that's amazing. But also there's some relationships to myself, some identities and some things with other cases that I just need to let it go, where we've shifted, we've changed, I've changed. Let that part of myself go, and love it. One of the things that is pretty common in this culture is people look back at their younger selves in embarrassment and in shame. And while there may be some good cause for that, there may be some good justification for being able to look back and be a little embarrassed. I don't. I don't. And while I need to learn to let go of some things, to let them be part of the history of who I am, not necessarily keep revitalizing them, I also recognize that all of these things, these experiences, these emotional experiences, they have shaped me. They are shaping me. And that means that they are a part of every relationship I'm ever going to have. And that includes the love that I've learned. Every bit of love I've ever learned goes into every relationship I'll ever have. Every way I've learned to love someone, every way I've learned to let myself be loved, all of the small ways that I've learned that I am sensitive in this regard or that I am resilient in this regard, that all goes into every love I'll ever have. And so the work that I'm working on right now is, how do I let go of an identity while maintaining the lesson, while keeping the lesson, while continuing to be informed by it. Incorporating the growth that I've had with the knowledge that I'm still got a lot of places that I need to experience and touch on and learn, and a lot of aspect of myself that I want to become more familiar with. But sometimes it's that spring cleaning energy, that coming in, dusting off the old things, and spending some time with that part of who you were and then letting it go. That can be really, really useful, really beneficial, and really an enjoyable way to spend a day. I think that, Marie Kondo, the book, The Art of Tidying Up, I believe is what it's called. She had a program on Netflix a few years back that was quite popular, where her name even became a verb. I'm gonna Marie Kondo my closet this weekend, because her teachings are about decluttering your life, decluttering your physical space in a way to declutter your mental space and your emotional space and your spiritual space. And it's really deeply moving lessons, and it's a really good practice. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody has to be a minimalist and get rid of all of your stuff. I mean, if you would like, sure. But some of us are maximalists. Some of us enjoy cacophony of color all around us. And uh, it's like our walls and our lives are living monuments to life. Things cover my walls. Bookshelves are packed full. Instruments, spilling out of containers. Bells, singing bowls, murtis, different pieces on altars all over the house and the land and the workspace and everywhere you look. And I recognize that I do find a part of me that thrives in that, that living inside of that museum of images. So I don't think it's necessarily that we have to get rid of everything and live in 4 bare walls on a mat on the floor, to be able to have a decluttered mind and body and spirit. But it is beneficial, I think, for all of us to knock the dust off and ask, do I need to continue doing this? Is this something that's helping me? Is this something that I can carry with me into the future in a way that's beneficial? And is this something that's letting me serve? Is this helping me to serve the greater purpose than just my material experience, or even the greater purpose than just my personal, spiritual, and psychological experience? We can confuse the notion that a spiritual experience is somehow individual, right? This is my individual spiritual experience. Well, there's no such thing. I don't see how that works. That's like you know, we're swimming in the ocean together, and I'm like, yeah, but this water right here, this is my part of the ocean, and that's your part of the ocean that's right in front of you. Uh, it doesn't work that way. When you're a part of the ocean of existence, you are a molecule in the greater fabric of everything. So I don't know. I think the individual spiritual relationship is a psychological relationship. And that's not diminishing that. That's important. And it's important to find tools to navigate that psychological spiritual experience. And it's important to find coping mechanisms and ways to honor and release experiences, both good and bad, in the psychological world as much as it is anything else. But I think if there is a level to us that is individualized, it is in our belief that we are individuals. That's where it lives, in the psychology. And I don't think it exists on a spiritual world. I think this is the lesson of breath. I can't differentiate your breath from my breath. We're breathing. When it's inside of your body, okay, it's there temporarily, and it's not like we are not permeable beings. We are. But in that vein of thought, understanding both that there is an individual personal experience of existence that does exist, there is that experience of that in the mind, in the belief, in the thoughts. Decluttering that space can help us to see more clearly the connections that we do have inextricably. So cultivating and spending time with that individual of the self, that level of existing, is beneficial for us to be able to recognize all of the myriad ways that we are part of the oneness of everything. I don't know if that's coming through or making sense. And I'm not even sure if the audio is working for the live broadcast, but it will be working on the podcast version of today's program. So, but that's just something to think about. There's a lot of things that I see that want to take us completely away from the individual into the collective whole. And I think that there is greatness there. But if we have an individual self, an idea of an individual self, then it's there to serve us in some way. So let's find how it can serve us and have us be of service. And let's clean it up. Let's clean it up. It's spring. Find that revitalization of energy, and whether that means you're going to dust your books off, or whether that means you're going to sit and you're going to do a moral inventory of yourself, releasing yourself of guilt and shame and fear and hatred, or whether that means you're going to find the relationships in which you love, and also realize that you can love from a distance, and you can step away, not in even a negative way, but just where you can focus all of that energy. Sometimes we need to externalize our energy, and sometimes we need to internalize it, but we always need to be aware that we are sharing it at all moments. We're always sharing our energy. And that awareness of that helps us to form those boundaries of when I'm giving or when I am being of service. If I'm just taking from myself to give, that's not a healthy relationship to myself and the whole. But if we can find those niche places that just need a little cleaning, a little dusting, maybe let go of a few items here and there, reorganize yourself, then you can let that flow begin to come in. So as we bring the flow in, I think it's a good practice to just take those breaths together. This above almost anything that I do here with Journey Home Meditation, whether it's on this morning sit or in the evenings at Journey Home Support Services or Club Northwest or wherever it is that I'm holding space for meditation. It's really about me holding space for collective breath. Meditation practices, there are thousands of different lineages and teachings, and there's value in all of it. It's amazing stuff. And there's ways to explore yourself and your experience that are fantastical, right? Like these things that are just phenomenal experiences. But really, when it comes down to what drives me, what really turns me on about the Sangha and the shared practice is the shared breath. I don't know where the absolute truth lies in this, but I was told once that when a choir of humans are singing together, at first, everybody's heartbeats, and this is apparently came from a study where a choir was hooked up to heart monitors and breath monitors. And in the beginning, everybody's heartbeats were a little different, right? Everybody had different rhythms, different heartbeats. But then through the course of singing together, coming into that breath together, those breathing patterns, the vibrations, the in and out, the shared activity, everyone in the choir's heart rhythms were in sync. Our hearts come together when we sing together. And when we sing together, we are breathing together. We are celebrating joyously that breath. That's what singing is. So for right now, let's just learn how we can tap into the deeper knowledge that we are connected through this breath, even in our separate spaces, in front of screens or listening on speakers, driving in cars, wherever we are, wherever you are, wherever I am in this moment. We can begin to feel the breath. If you are seated as I am, you can have your feet flat to the floor or crossed in any number of positions. If you're standing, wherever you are, however your body is in this moment, let's facilitate the breath by just elongating our torso just a bit, relaxing the shoulders, bringing the shoulder blades together just a touch in the back to open the chest. We want to lift that chin up. We spend a lot of time looking down. Let's lift that chin up just a little bit. Relax the arms, the hands, the legs, the feet. Then move your awareness to relaxing the eyebrows, your forehead, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth, your jaw, your neck. Breathe in through the nose to the bottom of the belly and feel as the belly gently expands. and release. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, I am connected. Breathing out, to all life. Breathing in, I am connected. Breathing out, to all life. I am connected to all life. Feel the body expand in different ways with the breath. Feel the ribs expand as you breathe into your back. Breathe into the top of your lungs, filling the chest and the clavicle. Breathe so the front of your chest expands. Expand the ribs. Breathing and filling the body in all directions, using the diaphragm as a way to clean out our internal space, opening up those places where emotions can hide from us. Stretch into being. I am connected to all life. Find that openness. With no thought. No agenda, just being here this moment. And when you're ready, you can slowly begin to move the body just gently enough to feel the light pulse of energy that moves through the body as the muscles engage and the breath moves in and the breath moves out. Open your eyes when you're ready. And I do think that it's a good practice to bring a smile into your breathing. Just even if just for this moment, even if only to stretch those muscles that don't get utilized enough, whatever it may be. The same way that dusting a tabletop is an action of clearing space. Bringing a physical smile is an action of opening up an emotional expression. So give it a shot. Why not? Thanks so much for being here today, everyone. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please feel free to reach out. I'm Michael. You can reach me by email at journeyhomemeditation@gmail.com. You can also find me on the social platforms, mostly on Facebook because I'm old. But you can find Journey Home Meditation in a few places online: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. Reach out in any of those places. Also, if you enjoy these morning meditations, please give us a review on Spotify or Audible. Throw some stars up there, whatever it is that you can do to help push this practice a little bit more. I appreciate you for being here today. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hariom.